Hey, beautiful people. Okay, so for today's dance class, it's going to be a little bit different. It's a little change of pace. As you can see, I'm not standing up um, to dance and show you a routine or show you some stretching or anything like that. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to make choreography. This is something that I get asked a lot, and I wanted to share with you guys my experiences on um, being a choreographer and what I've done, and certain guidelines that I kind of follow. I think people get kind of intimidated when it comes to making choreography because it's rare that you'll actually go to a class that teaches you on how to make choreography. It just seems like it's something that people just end up doing after dancing for a certain amount of time, and you don't get to actually see that process or their thought process. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the thought process that goes into it and the different ways that people can come up with choreography, and to show you from my perspective on how I do things, how I create routines and things like that. So I'm probably going to end up splitting this up into two parts because it's going to be a lot of information. So I'll probably continue on next week. So how to make choreography. The nice thing is there's no real right answer. So it's kind of a good thing, and in a way it's also kind of a bad thing where it's very open-ended. When it comes to anyone's creative process, it's different for everyone, right? But there's generally certain guidelines, I would say, that you can follow in learning your creative style and how you come up with choreography. So this is something that I've done choreography for a long time. I've choreographed ballroom dance, hip hop, especially in like commercial dance. So like as a backup dancer, things like that. I would have to say the most difficult choreography job I've had was choreographing for two Latin artists opening for Yandel, who, as some of you guys may know, that's a major reggaeton artist. So this was back in Ohio when I was still in Ohio, and we had the stage for 30 minutes. And filling up that time with choreography is very, very difficult. Like, that's a long time. We ended up, of course, we weren't dancing the entire 30 minutes. There were certain songs that just the artists were on stage, and then we ended up, we worked with the artists to figure out what songs they wanted us to dance to, what parts of the songs, because they had their own full performance going on where there was a little bit of acting as well. So I would have to say that really pushed me into learning what my creative process style was like and how to be really organized in my own head. So I said there's no real right answer, right? So everyone's creative process is different. But there's two main ways that you choreograph routines. And this was what was taught to me from teachers and things, and also based off of experimentation with myself. Two main ways. So one is envisionment. So you can envision what you want this dance routine to look like. Envisionment is especially important if you're choreographing a routine for a stage or a concert venue. That's very important. You have to take into consideration a lot of different things, like if there's lighting, are there other artists involved, is there more acting involved than a typical dance routine, etc. So one way is envisionment. You envision what you want. And then the second way is through freestyle. So for me, I'm primarily a choreography type of dancer. So my strongest suit is not freestyle, especially since I grew up learning technique through ballet and modern dance, and these are all concert dance styles, right? Hip hop is more focused on freestyle. It originated just in freestyle dance as a freestyle dance, and then as it got commercialized and put through the mainstream, that's when they started putting choreography to hip hop moves. So for me, I would say now I do a little bit of both, especially since I'm a very visual type of learner and I have a lot of imagination. So what I like to do is combining a little bit of both of these techniques. I'll listen to a song over and over, and I could be sitting down somewhere just listening to it and just seeing what my mind comes up with. Like, what do I see? Am I imagining two dancers? Am I imagining one dancer? What kind of moves am I seeing? Sometimes with the way my brain works, it's a little too much that I see at once, so I have to break it down and start writing things down. Sometimes I start focusing more on what the costume looks like versus the dance. So you have to learn to be able to write things down, whether it's by pencil, in your phone, to keep your thoughts organized. And then I also use freestyle. So I'll just be in front of a mirror, I'll play the song over and over. I may have to go over specific parts of a song over and over and just freestyle and see what my body comes up with naturally. Some people only use freestyle to come up with choreography, especially if they're primarily freestyle dancers. And some people use more of the envisionment side. For me, I use a little bit of both. Some other notes that I have about that. So we have envisionment and you have freestyle. When listening to a song, it's really important to pay attention to the instruments and the lyrics. So this is a really important aspect of choreography. You have to know if your moves are actually going to the beats or to the lyrics. It's especially important if you know you're going to teach your routine to another dancer or several other dancers. But even if it's for yourself, you have to know exactly what part of the song is your move going towards. Is this move going to the snare that's in the song, or is it going to a specific lyric? Some people choreograph dance routines. They tend to lean more towards choreographing to the lyrics versus the beat, and for some people it's the opposite, and some people do a little bit of both. For me, it depends on the song. I'll mix it up. In my opinion, some of the most creative dances that are more visually and audibly appealing is seeing dance routines that do both. So you may have a couple, maybe there's 4 counts of a bar in the music that's going to the beat of the song. Or it's going to different parts of the beat that aren't as obvious. Like for a little clap that might be in the song. If you hit a move that's just to the clap, even if it's subtle, it's actually very appealing visually, and it makes it more interesting, even if your audience doesn't consciously know, oh, hey, that was to a very conspicuous part of the beat. That was really cool. Even if your audience isn't consciously thinking that, their brain and their eyes are picking up on that movement mixed with what they're hearing. So it becomes a very all-around entertaining experience. What would be next? So to the lyrics as well. So then if you have the first 4 counts going to the beat or very specific parts of the beat, and then the next 4 counts are to the lyrics, that's something that makes it very appealing as well. And I like to take into consideration what the song is about, especially if there's a chorus. Maybe in the chorus you do want to emphasize your moves to being on the lyrics of the song, not just to the beat, because maybe the chorus is extra powerful, or there may be a specific line that you want to bring out more through your movement. So it's really all about how you're interpreting the music as well. As you're creating, you add layers and make notes of the specifics. So of course this is coming on next. So for some people it may take hours or days to come up with choreography. Just like when you're creating music, like if you're creating a song, you may have, or if you're writing a story, we all go through writer's block, right? So dancers go through dancer's block or choreography block, whatever you want to call it. There's been times where I've had to come up with choreography with something and I'm like, crap, like, I don't know why I can't come up with anything. Like, I need to take a break. I need to walk away from this and then come back. Every artist goes through that, you know? It's all about what's inspiring you, what kind of mood that you're in. Sometimes you get a song or you may get a job as a choreographer or a dancer and you may not really like the song or the choreography that's being given to you. But you have to do the best with what you're given. That's your job as an artist. How can you make something so beautiful or powerful for other people to see, even if it's not necessarily your cup of tea, you know? So how are you going to shine through it? So as you're adding layers, you've gone through, you're creating your routine through envisionment and or freestyle. You start adding layers. So I break the song down, okay? So I'll take parts of the song at a time. Maybe the first 30 seconds, I focus on that. Go over the routine as I'm coming up with the first 8 count. I usually break it down into 8 counts. It depends on the song. So this is where your knowledge of music comes into play too. Is it a song that's in 3/4 time? Is it in 2/4 time? Usually it's gonna be in counts of 4 or 8. That's usually how music is. But sometimes you'll have counts of 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. It's really important to know if that's how the phrases of the music are. Usually you'll be doing it in counts of 4 and 8. So I'll break it down. If I come up with a set of moves for the first 8 count, I make sure I go over that a few times to make sure it gets ingrained in my mind. Or I'll even record. Usually I don't need to record the first set of 8 because I'll remember it. But it also depends on how your brain works. You may need to record it on your phone, the first set of 8, so you can start remembering and you can keep adding on more and more without forgetting what you had just come up with. Okay? It's different because with writing music, you just write it down and then you practice it right there. With dance, if you know that your memory is not as great, you're going to have to go over it several times in your body before moving on and or record it on a camera or a phone. So I'm just going to add on a few more notes and then I'll continue on next time. But after you've done that, where you're recording, you're making sure you're organized, you're taking your notes on what these musical phrases have as far as your dance moves, you start adding more and more layers. So just like in music, you have dynamics, right? Is it smooth or is it hard-hitting? Is it sustained or is it staccato? Movement is the same way. So is your movement going to be sharp or is it going to be slow and sustained movement? So as you're going along, when you create your routine, I usually add the specifics later. Especially as I'm doing it several times in front of a mirror, I start to experiment with different types of dynamics and see what is the most appealing or what feels the best in my body that goes with that part of the song. What matches the lyrics or what matches the beat better. Okay? It's like putting together an outfit. When you're listening to a song and you're adding dance to it, you're like completing a whole outfit. So you want to make sure things match. Okay? And then the last part I have here for these notes on adding layers is the emotion part. So the emotion, that comes more so with the performance layer. So after you've come up with your skeleton, the core of what you want your routine to be, you start adding these layers and you start adding what you want to convey as far as the emotion. And once again, this goes back to the type of song that you're listening to, even if there are no lyrics. So if there's no lyrics to the song, maybe you're dancing to an instrumental. Really listen to those instruments and how they sound. Is it in a minor or a major key? Does it sound sad or does it sound a little happier? So that's also going to affect how you're moving and the emotion that you're showing in your face as well. You want your movement to embody what that song is about, what you feel that song is saying or showing. All right, you guys, that's part 1 of how to make choreography. Hopefully it wasn't like word vomit and it wasn't too all over the place. I have some more of my notes of what I'm going to go over with you guys next time, continuing on how to make choreography. But hopefully this helps you guys too when you're at home working on dance. And I think this will help you too with learning your creative process as an artist, or when you're choreographing for example, our performance showcases. It's really important to be organized in your mind and know how you think as an artist, especially when it comes to creating a dance routine. All right, love you guys.